Hi, my name is Abha. Today, I would share what are the things that cause stress and anxiety for me, and what do I do, or what things help me reduce that stress and anxiety, and also confusion. I think most of the anxiety is caused by a lot of confusion in our lives. And today, I would share what helps me and what doesn't help me, and what practices I do to reduce stress and anxiety in my life in general. Let me introduce myself first. I am a woman in my 50s, an immigrant who has lived in the new adopted country for over 25 years. I've raised my family here, so I have a bit of life behind me and how immigration um, affects the immigrants, and how's life once you have raised your family in a foreign country that has become yours now, and how you live life then as an empty nester in your new adopted country for many, many years. So this is my channel, and if you like my content, please like and subscribe. So let's get back to what causes stress and anxiety and confusion. Recently, as in last couple of years, I have heard the term intentional living. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of that term, but I wasn't really aware of it until recently. But once I read about it, I realized that I had always had that concept in me. And the times that I have been stressed and confused, didn't know how to make my decision. While making decision, actually, it was quite helpful. But what was causing the confusion and anxiety? So that was when my values were not aligned with the life that I was living. That is a time that causes a lot of disconnection with people, a lot of self doubt, and sometimes it can result in resentment as well, which is all not good for our overall well being. So, what is intentional living? Intentional living is consciously identifying your values and aligning your life with those values. Once we do that, it is easy to make decisions, even a small decision or a big decision in your life. You feel less stressed because your goals are aligned with your life. So your life is in harmony with your goals, with your values. When there's a conflict, that's when stress happens. So, for example, I have been raised as a vegetarian. So it has always been easy for me to decide when I go out what to eat, because my value when it comes to food is vegetarian. So I can easily go and choose the vegetarian food. So it kind of helps me in deciding. So that's a very small thing that helps avoiding confusion or stress once you know your values and you can make a decision. The the problem arises when you know what your values are, but the life you're living is not aligned with it. You have no control over those decisions. That happened in my life. As my personal example is when I saw myself as working as a scientist. I have worked towards it, but due to the decisions that my parents made for me, I could not live that dream. And there was a lot of conflict at that time, and that has affected my whole life. So those are the things that cause confusion, they cause stress, and they cause anxiety. Another example is when I didn't see myself as going through an arranged marriage, but I ended up doing that because it's tradition. I come from an Indian traditional family, and because my parents wanted me to do it. So again, that did not align with my own values. So there have been a lot of conflicts in the marriage as well. Other thing is, I have always been a minimalist, but after I got married, that's not how my husband thought. He was totally opposite of that. Nothing wrong with that. That's his way of living. But because there was then a lot of conflict, so there was a lot of stress caused due to that, because I kind of what is expected from a wife, I just went along with it. But in my heart, I was a minimalist, and that's where the conflict and stress was happening. So those are just small examples how when you have your values and you're not able to live along that, you are not able to align your life along with it, and that causes a lot of stress. And in this day and time, we really need to remove the stress from our lives as much as possible. We cannot completely remove it, but whatever we can, we need to remove that. So when if you can, so first of so I did not know that I actually was I had an intentional living concept way before I read about it, and I had tried to follow that. When I could not follow it, or at times where I could not follow it, that caused a lot of stress in my life. So how do you overcome that? There are certain things that you can do. Like I could do when I turned 50, I decided, irrespective of what my other half thinks or anything, it is time that I can live my life for my own. And I made a conscious decision to go sustainable and do recycling. It kind of connected to the minimalist living as well, but this was just a little bit different step. But I felt that I have to reduce the consumerism in my own life. I cannot do that in the household because there are different people living in the family and they have different goals. But I thought in my life I can bring that back to bring some harmony in my own life. So at that time I decided that any occasion that I attend, I'm not going to buy a gift for um, for the other person. I'm going to make a gift. So that the first reason is I have time now. Like if I couldn't have done that when I was in my 20s or 30s when I had two small children, there's no way I would have had time for that. But now I have time, and I decided that's one thing that I can do without affecting rest of the family, even if their values are slightly different to me. This is something that I can do it for myself. And that was an important step that I took. It will help me first to learn new skills if I don't have to, be a little bit more creative, come up with ideas how to give a gift, what gifts to give if I don't go to a shop to buy that. So I started, if I will receive flowers, they are always wrapped in beautiful paper, colorful paper, and ribbons. I will take it off very gently and I'll keep those papers. If I get gifts, I would keep those papers as well. Ribbons are great. So I wouldn't throw them away, and I started recycling it. So when I would make my own gift, I would recycle that. I would use that to package. And if there was no gift or colorful paper to pack, I would just pack it in a cellophane and then tie a bow with a ribbon. So different ways to not go and buy the packaging. When it came to gifts, I started giving them gifts like plants. So whatever plants I have, I would propagate it and put them in small vases. I would grow a few plants throughout the year to give as gifts. And I started to learn how to knit. So I would, like when if a friend or a colleague would have a baby, I would knit mittens or something and give it to them. So that aligned with my values, and that was not affecting anyone else. And that kind of, I mean, knitting is a great stress relief. They, like, doctors equate it to meditation and all that. They even suggest it for people who are depressed. Knitting is so great. So not only it gave me something productive to do with my time, but I could combine it with my idea of sustainable living, recycling more, and less consumerism. So I didn't want to go and buy things, even for giving gift. For myself, of course, I wouldn't go and buy um, things, even dresses, if I didn't need it. I would just use the ones that I have, even if I have to keep repeating it, and then only buy if necessary, or as a souvenir. If I'm out and about traveling, I would buy something that is cheaper there or that is unique to that place. So that is, again, I believe that was intentional living that I was going towards, which combined with my values. And I always find that helps in making decisions. So not just small decision, like going and buying a gift is stressful for me. But when I know that I'm going to make it, and I'm not going to buy anything, then it becomes easier. It makes me think outside the box and what gifts to give. Sometimes it could be like chili oil and whatever, like for Christmas, anything that you can make. So these are small decisions that help. It also helps us in big decisions. For example, if someone has done something to hurt you or to harm you intentionally or unintentionally, what do you do about it? So, if I have decided I'm going to focus on just my own, what I do, because I cannot control the other person's behavior, then it just makes it easy for me to understand what decision I need to make. And that if my belief is not causing harm to anyone, if that is the value I have identified with, that from now onwards I'm not going to make any decision that intentionally to make other person miserable, whether by my words or by my actions, then that helps me. Even if someone is causing me harm, how do I deal with that? Because I'm not going to go back and scream at them for causing me hurt or intentionally causing me harm by their actions. It gives you a little bit of more control and helps you manage your emotions and helps you in reducing the stress in your life. So focus on your own actions, because that's all you can control. You cannot control the other person's action. So those are some more like bigger decisions that can help in reducing the stress level. If someone, if in work, at a workplace, if someone is kind of trying to sabotage your work, actively doing that to undermine you, um, how do you go about that? So as long as I stay true to my values of being kind towards other person, it just becomes easy for me to not to go and complain, not to go and moan about them, not to do anything like that. If it is affecting me too much, then just approach that person and have a gentle talk with them. So those are kind of bigger picture where intentional living comes quite handy in reducing your own stress. Aligning your values with your life is a huge thing. At least it has helped me removing conflicts in my life, because there's already so many conflicts that I haven't been able to control. And in future as well, there will be a lot of things that come in your life that you're not able to control. But what you can control is your own actions, your own thoughts, and that can be done by aligning your values. So first, we have to purposely sit and think about our values. What are our values that we want to live by? Another example, a slightly larger one that I would like to share is coming to minimalist again. I have never been the kind of person who wants like the latest gadget, the biggest house, a house and a holiday home. Those kind of like multiple properties and huge, like the best car in the world, the most recent car to buy, or the most recent watch or gadget, or the branded bags and dresses. I'm not that kind of person at all. So for me, it was just important that I can buy something that I find is nice and comfortable for myself. So I don't go after latest style that is in fashion. So it has to be something that I like wearing. Suppose if it is clothes, I don't care about brands. So if people judge me on that, or they think, I don't really care about that. So that then having multiple properties, develop more income sources, based on consumerism. So I've never done that. I'm the kind of person who's happy to have one small place to live. Like if maybe when the children were growing up, maybe a three-bedroom house and a job, that's enough for me. Or so when that does not happen, when there is when your values don't really align with that, when even if someone gifts me like something nice, I would feel like this doesn't align with me and I can't accept that gift. And it's not just my other half, but also my children. My children love to buy me nice gadgets because they're into gadgets, and I always feel very guilty that, to take expensive things. But I know it comes from love, so I accept it. But for me, the more important thing is to keep the connections. My more important thing is to spend time with family rather than say have the latest car. So that kind of, when that does not happen, then there's a conflict in my life. And some people want more, bigger the better, more the better. That is fine too. And they will probably feel miserable if they have, like how I feel, that I don't want the new car. I would drive my car, the current car, until it completely stops running, and then I will go and buy a new car. Same with my phone. I wouldn't buy a new phone until this one crashes completely. But if I'm forced, I mean, no one can really force me. But if I have, like, for whatever reason, if I'm kind of compelled to do more and more to have this kind of lifestyle, that's when I feel there's conflict, and I'm not living the life that I want to live. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I would rather have a 9 to 5 job, come home to a happy place. It doesn't matter to me whether I'm wearing a branded clothes or not, if I'm driving the latest car or not, if I have a 8 bedroom house or not, if I have a two holiday homes somewhere else in the country as well. That doesn't give me happiness. For me, happiness is just having one home. Having that means you have a roof over your head. Just any clothes that are comfortable, so it doesn't have to be branded. If it is branded, if I find branded that suits me and that's within my range, I don't mind that. Usually, it may not be, so I don't really mind. For me, it's more important that the material has to be comfortable for me. And same with cars. It doesn't matter, it's running. Who cares what car I'm driving? I certainly don't, but I know it can be important for some people. And if that is your value, then it should be aligned with that. They will be miserable living the way I want to live. These things have caused conflict in my life as well. Um, so when your values are not aligned with your life, or your life is not aligned with your values, it causes a lot of conflict. We cannot always live with all of them, because we live in a community, we live in a society, we live within a family, and everyone may have different ways of doing things. But if you live intentionally, then it is easier. It causes less confusion, less conflict within yourself. So I'm talking about within ourselves. It causes less conflict, less confusion, less stress. It helps us make decision. It is very easy. Even if we are window shopping and we like something, and your family, your friends say, "Hey, buy it if you like it," but it is so easy for you to make that decision, saying no, you don't want to buy it, or yes, you want to buy it, because um, it comes back to your value. Do I really need it? And what the thing that I have, is it completely destroyed? Do I need a new one, or do I need a branded one, or do I not need it? So it is so easy to make that decision. That reduces the confusion. If you like, that's not my value, but if you decide that you're not, like, don't not going to have any additional preservatives in your food, you want to keep it simple, down to earth, rather than full of preservative, added sugar, and all that, then it is easy for you to make a decision what dessert you can have, or the dessert you should not have. It just makes life so much more simple when you stick, when you go by your values. So I think the most important part is to first identify your values and then align your life with it. It helps you in even the biggest decisions. If you're offered a promotion, for example, at work, and if that promotion means you will be away from home, it involves traveling away from your family, then it is so, and your values are not more money but more time with your family. If that's your value, it is so easy to decline that promotion and say thanks but no thanks, because my values are different. I cannot, this will take me away from my family, and that's not what I want to do. So it is so easy. Life becomes easy when we align, when we identify our values and align our lives with it. So those are the things that have helped me in reducing my stress, reducing the confusion, reducing the anxiety. Whatever I can do, implement in my life as per my values, I have started to do that. It most of the time does not affect the other people around me, but it gives me lot of um, lot of peace of mind, knowing that I'm going in right direction. It gives me more. It gives more meaning to my life and purpose, like how do I want to live my life. So that's another benefit that I feel, that when you don't know the meaning of your life, the purpose of your life, it causes stress and anxiety. So once you know your values, then you have more purpose and more meaning to your life. You also have great satisfaction and fulfillment in your life. You feel that satisfaction. The satisfaction I feel for last few years, when I decided I'm going to be a less of a consumer of outside, the shops and malls. That has given me more satisfaction. It saves money, yes, then I can do what I want with that money, but at the same time it provides me satisfaction, that I have learned something new to give gifts. So it gives you that um, fulfillment in your life. Sometimes it can also improve the relationships, because if your intention is to be compassionate towards everyone else, if you have decided, it takes small steps, like it is not easy to do that, I must admit that, to be honest, because the way the world is, it's sometimes when you feel that someone is going out of their way to demoralize you or lying about you and trying to put you down, it's a bit hard. But when this is something that I have started to live by recently, is to be kind, and that improves your relationship because it kind of gives you more compassion. But at the same time, the way you talk to the other person, even if they are not being good to you, or intentionally or unintentionally causing hurt to you, but once you have decided that from now you will live, this will be your value, that you will be kind to other person, you will purposely not, or even unintentionally not say anything to hurt anyone, that makes relationships work better, because you show more compassion towards the other person. And even if you don't understand their point of view, the way you talk to them would be quite different to how I would talk to them. Like, I would get mad at someone if they are accusing me of something that I have not done, or in general accusing me of anything. So I find that it is quite, it helps in building stronger relationships, I should say. So those are the benefits that I feel. It brings more awareness. So when I decided about, doesn't matter how the other person is talking to me, I'm going to be kind to them. It it brings that awareness to ourselves, that how we would have reacted and now how we are reacting. So how it was in the past, that only kind of destroys the relationship. But like, if you are reacting to them, instead of that, if you're not reacting, and if you're just being mindful of the other person and still being, as much as you can, kind to them, that definitely helps with the relationship. So those are the benefits that I feel, um, they are due to intentional living. Um, so I hope that you kind of agree with that, or if you have experienced that as well, please do share. Um, Self awareness is important, I guess, when it comes to the value of kindness. And the self awareness comes from practices such as mindfulness and meditation, which I do as well. And I think I have talked about it in the previous video on one of it should be there in one of my playlists. Otherwise, if I remember, I will put a link to it as well. In addition to meditation and mindfulness, um, I think it is also important to declutter your physical space and your mental space. When you declutter that, then you can focus on more important things that truly matters to us. So we always hear about decluttering the physical space because that helps in decluttering our mental space as well. It is good for our health. But I feel that decluttering my mental space also helps me in making room for things that are important to me. If my mental space is too cluttered, like if I have to, if while working, if I'm thinking about what do I have to cook for dinner, or what do I have to take my pet for a vet's appointment, I have to come back and do the dishes, I have to do the washing, I have to go to a social event. My mind is so cluttered while coming back from work. So that is causing stress. But if I completely declutter my mind and I make my life simple, that I'm not going to do, like I can do that now that my kids are grown up. Previously, probably not. But then there are different ways that I could have decluttered my mind to focus on what was important to me then. Right now, my well-being is more important. So I have decided to completely declutter my mental space and become minimalist, even in your mind. So I don't really give that much importance to what to cook. Like my kids keep telling me, "Don't worry about us. We can fix something for ourselves." So that letting go, that yes, they can do it. So that is a huge amount of mental space that is free. So I can focus on, say, be kind. Sometimes, even if we want to be kind, um, I feel that it becomes difficult because we have so much other stress on our mind that because of that stress we can just snap at the other person even if they are saying something very small, that is, but we make it a big deal in our mind and just snap at them because our mind is so cluttered with other things that's going on. Or there's so much stuff to get done, especially for us women. We have a responsibility for the whole family. We carry it for years and years and years. It becomes really that becomes kind of the reaction that we give, snapping and getting mad and then screaming. But if since I have decluttered my mind space, I have done very actively because I realize that is not making me a good person. I'm snapping at people, I'm getting mad at people, I'm reacting to even the smallest of the comments in a very negative way. So when I decided that I'm going to practice more kindness towards other people, even if they are not being kind to me, it was hugely important for me to clear my mental space, to get that in my mind, to have that compassion for the other person. If there is no room in my brain for that, in my mind, it's not going to happen. So, decluttering my mind has helped so much. It gives me time to think because I have that much mental space to think from the other person's perspective. It's not that I don't snap at people anymore. I have become some kind of saint. No, but that helps you to live by your values because you have that much space to take a step back and not react and understand the other person. Show that empathy, compassion, understanding towards them. Believe me, that does not happen when your mind is cluttered, when your mind has so many things going on. And I would probably wouldn't have been able to do it when I had a young family and the kids were growing up. There's just so much, they are more important at that time. You don't have time to think about yourself. But yes, declutter your mind has helped me so much. And that is focusing on my values, for health as well. So I know how my it helps. The daily routine also needs to, you need to change it a little bit to practice your values, because as I said, it has so many benefits to it. But how do we actually manage to practice it? So we have to include or declutter our daily routine as well, and include only the things that are aligning with our values. So after work, work is important because I need to earn money. So after work, instead of going to a mall, if I need to buy something, I would not go there. I will come home because I have reduced consumerism and I'm focusing on my health. So I come back home, change, and go for a walk. So that is again good for my mental health, my well being, my physical fitness, my mental fitness. If my mind is cluttered, and if I have not included it in my daily routine, my the values, then I can't really practice. I can't practice the intentional living. So changing daily routine and also decluttering your mind is, I feel, is extremely important, so that we have space to think about what is of value to us, and then make our decisions according to it and live the life according to it. That will bring some peace and harmony in our lives. Those are the benefits that I have found for intentional living. So to summarize, intentional living for me has helped greatly in reducing stress and anxiety in most of the situations, because it takes the confusion out of the decision making, and you know what you're not going to regret. If even if you take a decision that goes that is slightly not in your favor completely, it's still, you feel that satisfaction that you have made the right decision. um, so that satisfaction comes, fulfillment comes from intentional living, less stress and less confusion in the life, and slightly better relationships around me. So those are the benefits I have felt, and I hope that help you as well. Or maybe you all are practicing that already, and please do share if you have noticed any benefits of intentional living, or if you plan to um, work towards intentional living. That's it for me, from me for today. Do leave comments about your thoughts, and I will see you next time soon. Bye for now.